Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade
Shade in the
in the
City.
City. I'm your girl, Treese.
It snows.
And today, y'all, we are here to get into the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 10, Episode 19. This will be the reunion part 2, okay? So if you guys have not already, please go ahead and do us a favor and hit that like button.
And a subscribe button.
And y'all, please forgive me in advance. My internet wants to be fugazi this evening, so unfortunately, I don't have time to keep freezing. So I just decided we're going camera off tonight. I don't know what is going on. Maybe I need to update. Who knows? But anyway, y'all, let's get into part 2 of this reunion and let's get shady.
Drip on the skyline paint. Shade in the city, true hit like a banger. I said it, I meant it, no need for disclaimers. Haters right away, but they just false claimers. Concrete beats are heavy like cinder. Looking for one, but the streets feel winter. No filters, no edits, I'm raw with my splinters. My life a movie, they watching the trailers. Said it, I'm not gonna hold you. Shade in the city, the life in the mold. You like and subscribe if you feeling the vibe. This is my word, I just let you inside. I said it, I'm not gonna hold you. Shade in the city, my words gon' console you. Like and subscribe if you feeling the vibe.
Right. So we start off Ashley and Wendy. They're still going back and forth about the accomplishment that Ashley has or hasn't accomplished. Okay. And so she tries to say that Wendy has, 6, 7 credit cards. And I literally say, girl, grow up. So Andy asked, well, Wendy, if she accepts Ashley's apology, and Wendy said, hell no, because she mentioned that Ashley apologized to her while at BravoCon, but clearly it was disingenuous because then she turned around and was still talking. Okay. So she mentioned Stacey text Ashley because she was concerned about Wendy, and Ashley didn't really seem to give a damn. And so Ashley apologizes for what she said, and if that affected her children, and Wendy makes it clear that her kids don't know that lady. Okay. And so Andy decides, well, you know what, it's time to move on. And so Ashley tells Andy before he moves on, she says that, I feel like the dynamic has changed a little bit because Andy addressed her or she wanted to address the comment about her being extra messy this season. And I have to agree with Ashley that, things are a little different now because back in the day, these ladies, they might have got mad, but nobody was as sensitive as they are now. And yeah. And so basically she's like, this is the way I've always operated. So I just basically people need to get a thicker skin. And so then they asked Angel, about her journey. And literally it was like a sentence. And she was like, if she could do things differently, she would have shown more of her fun side. And I said, oh, you have fun? But
Yeah, fly fishing.
I guess so. So then they get into Ashley's package, her second bloom, her family drama, and her messing with Sharice's son. Ashley refuses to disclose how much money she got from her divorce settlement and mentions how, she's still dealing with Josh on and off. So Stacey calls her out for embarrassing him on TV and then getting right back with him. Okay.
I actually like that Stacey did that.
What happened?
I said I actually like that Stacey did that.
Well, yeah, because that was kind of wrong because it's like, oh, yeah, basically you were using him. And so Ashley's story is that, she had real feelings. And she, said that she broke up with Josh maybe a night or two before and he wanted to get back together. So she told him that it needed to be on camera. And so Andy brings up Ashley hooking up with Sharice's son, Jackson. Ashley says she's confused why Sharice didn't give her the same energy when she was in her face, but then proceeded to go on a press tour. Okay. And so Ashley said, that Jackson is the one that made the first move. And Andy said, well, did he go any further than a kiss? And of course, Ashley denies it. But Wendy was like, oh, but you said that it might have on Watch What Happens Live. And I was like, yeah, you did say that, girl. And so Ashley admits I did say the same thing to Sharice, which we saw. And so Angel asked, well, why wouldn't you give Sharice a heads up before using her son as a storyline? I said, because I ain't got nothing else going on. So Ashley argues that Sharice has told her before that she wants them, her and Jackson to date. And Giselle co-signs this and says that Sharice has been calling her daughter-in-law for years. So Andy moves on to Ashley's sister and her mama. And Ashley is very mum about her sister's father, but she makes it clear that that is not her stepdaddy. And his recovery, he is out of rehab now, but unfortunately, it sounds like I don't know. It does. She said his
It
health.
sounds like he need to go back.
Right. Andy addresses Ashley going after Mauricio and how Giselle had to, basically cock block. And so Giselle thinks that Stacey is the one that really wanted Mauricio, and she was the one trying to throw the cat. And so
I can't blame nobody for wanting Mauricio.
I mean, he cute, but
I think
if we get into politics, girl code politics.
so.
But
They know her, or is it just because they're both on Real
no, they
Housewives?
know her. I mean, they see each other at BravoCon, like they see each other in
Mm,
shared Bravo spaces. So yeah, it would be
mhm,
awkward if you're dealing with my ex-husband. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't even think they're divorced. I just think they're separated. I think they're
mhm,
still technically going back and forth. So it would have been even messier to insert yourself into something that's not officially over.
mhm.
Um,
Giselle trying to act like she all high and mighty though. Didn't she say she would have slept with him?
yeah, but I think she said she wouldn't have because of the closeness. Andy moves on to the rumor that he heard about Ashley dating some politician, or I think one of the fans had asked her. And so Stacey was like, "There's no way. Do you know who Ashley is? There's no way. Look how she carries herself." So Andy asked Giselle for her input, and she was like, "Well, I'm actually surprised that question went to Ashley because I was the person that was dating a congressman." And so Andy was like, "Oh, so you was out here dating somebody?" And we didn't get to see it. And she was like, "It was after filming." And I said, "Yeah, make sure you clear it up because Andy about to take part of that check." So then Kiarna questions, "Well, Giselle, why don't we ever get to see any of your relationships?" And so Giselle tells him because he's a congressman and he would never come on camera, duh. And so that's when Ashley talks about her, and her children's book that she's working on. I guess kudos, congratulations to her. I guess that's one of her accomplishments.
So then they move on to Kiana. Of course, they show her
God.
recaps. What'd you say?
God.
Andy focuses on the fact that she said the ring is coming, and he wants to know, well, has it arrived? Then she pulls out this infamous picture frame and says that she actually loves picture frames, and her and Greg always talk about the big picture and how it's so symbolic. She said that she understands, why the viewers were mad, and because they felt like he was playing in her face, and he was, but she loves it. Also, viewers called her out for being a sugar baby, and she was like, no, 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 no. I've always been a hard worker. I've owned my own business since I was 23 years old. Boo bye. Am I tripping? Did he help her get that business?
I don't know. It makes it sound. I will give Kiarna her things. I do believe that was something that she had before she met Greg. I'm sure.
Greg?
If anything, it was probably the ex-boyfriend that was a rug dealer that helped her start.
That's right.
Gave her the money to
That's
start.
right. It was. Yeah. You're right. It was the ex-boyfriend, because I remember them talking about that at the table. So then they move on to Wendy and this speaking engagement, and Wendy once again, she's like, "Girl, did you really expect me to interrupt my speech to say, 'Hey, girl, what's up to you?' Like, what the hell?" And then she says, "What you didn't say is that, afterwards I came and gave you a hug." Kiarna denies all of this, but apparently somebody was at the brunch and seen it and said that basically it seemed like it was all love when they saw each other, and Wendy had the receipts, and it looked like Kiarna was shut down at that point. She's giving a little bit of a Stacey energy. So she was also asked about her beef with Stacey, and she said that she's beefing with Stacey because she always called her aggressive. And long story short, Stacey basically said, "Boo, because you are. That's what you're doing, and you carry." And I understand, the negative connotation, and I'm not here to, perpetuate that stereotype. But boo, you have a responsibility to act accordingly and not be aggressive.
I love when she called her Karen. She said, "You're a black Karen."
Oh, a black Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she did. But I do. I mean, do you feel like she was being aggressive towards Stacey?
I feel like Kiarna's been aggressive this whole damn season. Kiarna's been aggressive and unlikable.
Even to her best friend.
Right. Even in this particular, when she was like, "I can speak for myself." And it was like, well, as many times as you went to go speak up or didn't say nothing about. And so, yeah, she's been giving aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Then we move on to Jazzy. She comes out and joins the cast. And she needs three people to help her onto the stage with that heavy ass dress.
Let me say this.
Hmm.
Now seeing them moving and talking and stuff with these dresses on, um, her dress is on the same level as Monique's.
Oh yeah, it
It
was bad. Did you see
it
the
was
wires coming
it
out?
might
Like,
it might, you know what, I still don't like Monique's, but actually it might have been worse.
no, I would actually have to give Monique a step up. I would give Monique half a point, and Ashley would, Jazzy would get a complete zero.
That dress was hideous.
Yes, it was.
And then I think, are you talking about the wires with the flowers connected
Yeah, yeah, I
that was
saw that.
hanging
I
out
said,
by
"Oh,
her
girl, that look."
shoulder? And
Yeah, I said, "Oh, girl, that look cheap." But it's supposed to be what was a Nigerian
a
designer?
Nigerian stylist, the same one that didn't Stacey use a Nigerian stylist also? It's the same one.
No, I don't think it's the same one, but I think they all decided they was gonna be inspired by Nigerian culture. Um, so yeah, so we of course Jazzy's dress is made by a Nigerian designer, like we talked about. Andy congratulates her on her 6 months of marriage to Darius and asks her who he's playing for, which we know at the time I don't even know if he's still signed, but he was on the Patriots. And so she asked if she's met Cardi B, which she said that she actually was missed the one game that Cardi was at, but anticipates that they'll eventually, get to meet each other. Then
Probably
Andy asked
not.
where,
You might see the baby mamas.
right. Okay, so I think Andy was asking Jazzy where her relationship stands with Kiarna, and Jazzy said that they see each other and they don't speak, just like they did the day before when they ran into each other. And Kiarna claims, I didn't recognize you. I didn't recognize. I mean, you look great right now, but I didn't recognize you. And I was like, not you trying to throw shade, okay?
Right.
So and so then Jazzy makes a crazy accusation about Kiarna stealing Greg from his wife, and I said, well,
And raising his children.
and raising his children. Okay. So this has Kiarna do a whole about face, okay, on the couch to address Jazzy face to face and call her all types of lying bees. And so Andy said, you know what, this ain't gonna go nowhere. So he moves on to Tia and Jazzy's little squabble and how they had their disagreement in Nieves and or Neves, I'm sorry. And I love when Tia was like, yeah, she was putting on 20 on 10 and doing too much. I had already apologized to her in the van. And then we get to the table and she's really being extra. And I don't think it was as serious. Nobody was attacking your relationship. So then
And
Tia
it's
talks.
weird that I don't know if she just didn't want to take accountability or if she really still didn't think that it was weird that she was doing too much.
I don't know. The fact that she tried to double down on her foolishness.
That's what I'm saying. I thought
I,
she was gonna watch it back and be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe it was the drinks. Maybe, I was doing too much. And she didn't give none of that.
no, she gave that she thought she was right. And I was like, yeah, girl. So then we learned that Tia and her husband are doing fine. He wasn't appreciative of her calling him the nanny. However, she said that they both basically gentle parent and let their kids run them and do whatever they want. Um, and she basically said that her and her husband, apparently their verbal abuse is their love language. And then she brings up the relationship, or Andy asked her about the relationship with her sister Amira, and she gets a little emotional because she said she basically fought so hard when her dad was alive to not have a relationship with her sister because she just felt like her dad wanted her to go along and get along, but now that he's not here, she wants to basically appreciate and
She said she
preserve
wants anything
any parts of
associated with
him.
him. I thought
So
I love the fact that she can admit that, you know what, when he was here, I didn't really, want anything to do with her. And now I just want any piece of him.
right. No, I did think that was beautiful. So her and Amira, and then Giselle even gets, she said, look, I'm not gonna cry, okay? I ain't gonna shed no tear. And Andy said, it's been 10 years. She's right. She's not. She's not gonna do it. But Giselle said that moment was also emotional for her because it made her think about her father when we saw Tia and her sister go back to visit the house that her father lived in, and And I even got emotional watching it because it was a very sweet and endearing moment. And so yeah, so Giselle says she can relate. And then I do believe Andy moved on to ask Giselle about her situation going on between her father's, I guess, estate and the ex-wife, or not the ex-wife, the wife. And Giselle said that unfortunately, we know that she lost her case in court and they decided to award the wife with everything, which had her a little bit hot and bothered. But I mean, I don't know. And a lot of people felt like, and I did see that online, a lot of people felt like Giselle just wanted the money portion
Mhm.
of it. But I understand where Giselle was coming from. It's bigger than that. This man was a civil rights leader. There's history, there's artifacts, there's things that we wanted to pass down to my kids. And I know now, one thing I will say is I know she's only speaking up for herself in this point and on this show, but I'm really interested because um obviously being online, I forgot and somebody mentioned she does have siblings. So I wonder if they just didn't get anything either, or whether they just
Giselle?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right. So can you imagine her being like, "Oh, what about me? What about my kids?" And but there's other kids and siblings and possibly grandchildren.
Hmm.
So I don't know, just something to keep in mind. But I think she has a brother. I don't know if she has a sister, but I feel like I feel pretty confident. I think that I heard she has a brother. Correct me if I'm
I
wrong
would
in the
assume,
comments.
I would assume that it wouldn't be a problem for her to give them things. I'm assuming that maybe she was just the only one willing to fight it.
Hmm. Got you. Um, and so yeah, and so then basically that's all I have for them. And then they bring up Jazzy being upset with Tia, and Stacy. One for Stacy not coming, the whole wedding plot scenario and how she probably wasn't gonna come if Ashley and what's the name hadn't said nothing to her. And in this moment, I'm gonna have to say I need as much as I love Stacy and I like Stacy, this is when your lies do become problematic because I can appreciate you a lot more if you can just say, girl, yes, like you said, you had a business venture. Your plan was not to come, but then all of a sudden change your mind, just say, well, hey, I realized Wendy and Ashley were going, and so I changed my schedule. Like it costs nothing to keep it real. And it would have made a lot more sense if you would have just kept it real versus like falling on this sword that no, that wasn't your, and that's not what. And then she says, oh, well, our
I don't know if it
relationship.
would have made the situation better. It would have made her be able to respect the fact that she was being honest, but it would have still made her seem like a bad friend.
Right. But then it was like, oh, our relationship has been damaged. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And that's when I said, okay, Stacey, this is why this is a problem. And that's why I said it costs nothing to keep it real. And you could have just told the girl, like, look, and
You're
stay.
right. I didn't initially plan to
Right.
come. And, we were in a better space, whatever. And yes, I decided to come. After talking it over with Wendy and Ashley, whatever, yeah, I decided to come. But I mean, that's what liars do. So then they bring Monique out with the upside down pyramid dress.
Now,
But
now I will say this. I'm not saying that I like the dress
I
more,
like the reason behind
but
it.
I do like the reasoning the behind it. I
Yes,
do
she
think that
said
that
that's where
was
she
dope.
said in Egypt that's where she found herself. And I'm not gonna lie, it did make me like the dress just a little bit more.
Yeah,
It
because she
does.
put thought into it. It wasn't just I went to a Nigerian designer. So yeah.
I just saw triangles, honestly, when I saw the dress and Tomb Raider. I
Not
saw
you, not you you seen primary shapes.
yes, and Tomb Raider with the thing around the leg but yes, when she said the reason behind it, I thought it was pretty dope. And honestly, anything would beat Jazzy's dress. Um, so
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
then she brought out the original binder. Okay. And they talked about how, she's lighter this season. And it took a lot of self-reflection. Andy said he tried to get her on season 2 of Ultimate Girls Trip, and it was a hard pass for her. And she said emotionally she just wasn't there. She wasn't ready to come back to this platform. I mean, she said that she learned in her divorce that she did not love herself. So she was, still working on that. She was asked if she stands by her statement that there were similarities between her and Angel's marriage that she's in now, and the one that she's that's dissolved. And Monique said, listen, I was not coming for their marriage or coming for Bobby. Basically, she's saying that, kind of like generalize it. I didn't really feel like it was generalized. I felt like it was Angel and Bobby, but she said that she was just referring to NFL guys. And,
I'm gonna be
that's
honest. I didn't like that. I didn't like that because I do feel like, in a way, you were kind of insinuating, and then you get up there and you're like, "That's not what I meant," and then at the same time trying to
and you kept on
insinuate
saying
that
it.
her
It's like,
husband was rude to you after you sat and he saw you on film talking shit about him. I don't know who you thought he was, but Bobby. One thing I can say, the most honest cast member this season has been damn Bobby, and he ain't on the
you know,
cast.
listen, I get that, like, men are supposed to be, not emotional and all this other stuff, right? But to
Oh,
expect him to behave in a way and still smile in your face, even
mm-mm.
though you said these things about him, these things about his marriage, and then get offended when he doesn't want to respond to you or say hi. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's weird. And I'm not just saying Monique.
No,
I'm
now
just
that I'm
saying,
gonna be honest with you, that's when I at that moment I said, Monique, you're coming off a little bit like a black Karen
but
because
it's
you're
not
trying to
just
make it a
Monique.
thing. No, 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 and it's
That's
not
not
just
just
Monique.
that's
Yeah,
there's a lot of women that like expect that. And I think that's super weird. Like, they're not supposed to be able to like react or feel some type of way because you're a woman.
I agree. That's stupid.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And I know I want my man to not play about me like Bobby didn't play about Angel.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly. Or
even
play
though
about
if I choose to forgive you,
or play about your relationship.
right,
You know what I'm saying? You're speaking on this man and what may be going on in their relationship, and possibly him not wanting to, watch his kids and not like. I feel like he definitely had a reason to,
yeah, you were talking about not only him as a husband, as a
as a
father,
father.
as a yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. So I didn't. Yeah, when she was like that he was being rude, I mean, so were you. And he didn't get up on no soapbox and talk mess about you. All he did was, you said hi and he ignored your ass.
right.
Monique said, that her only intention was when they first met at the Pride dinner. She said that she started talking about the NFL. Um, and then when the cameras came down, Angel wanted to talk to her because they had so much in common. And then, she saw her on this girls' trip that she was hosting and saw that she was doing a lot. And, she was just kind of like, let your man handle it, that the husband and the children should not even be a factor. I do agree that if you're on a girls' trip, yes, your husband and your children should not be a factor. That I feel like was an angel thing. I don't think that was a relationship thing. I don't think you needed to talk about the girls' relationship. You could have just been like, Angel girl, we on a girls' trip. Like, you need to be worried about the girls. Like, it's just us. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? So yeah, so she said that she looked like she needed some help, and Monique didn't know what she had going on at home, but she wanted her to know that basically, if you need help, basically you should be able to ask for it, and it shouldn't get to the point where you're being aggressive with the group. Angel said that she was offended when she watched it back because she felt like it was projection, and I agree with her. I definitely feel like it was projection. Tia and Kiana said that when they were in the house, Bobby did everything, and that's definitely what he gives me.
Mm-hmm.
He gives me that type of husband. You know, although I want to know when they said everything, if they meant everything for Angel or everything for everybody in the house.
Well, that part, yeah.
Because we saw when it was raining outside, he came and brought the umbrella for Angel, got her out the rain, and left your ass in the rain. Okay, so what do you mean by everything? Basically, she said now people are running with this narrative that she may be facing trouble in her marriage, and that's just not the case. And then they moved on to Stacey and want to know if she did in fact date Chris Samuels, because they have a picture of her where it looks like she's on a date. But she said that she admitted it also on the producer cam. She said that photo that everybody's referring to was a table of 25 people, and she has never dated that man. Then she tried to say on the producer cam that she saw him out. And I love how Ashley said, yeah, but that's not the context that you said it in. You said you and your husband were seeing other people and you were seeing other people, and Chris was one of them. Monique said, whether they were dating or not, that is never been her issue. Stacey is a beautiful girl. And she said that she enjoyed watching her this season, but a boundary was definitely crossed when she was sharing. And she felt like it was something that needed, if it was something that needed to come back to her, it would. And unfortunately, it did. And then she pulls out her phone and says, you ain't gonna be able to air it, but at least you can see it. And from what I saw in the clips, I mean, I don't know if they're just guessing or what, but really the receipt is really not receipting. So
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was confused by that, but for me, the look on Stacey's face looked like she was worried as by as soon as what's the name stepped on
Stacey is
stage.
always worried because she's worried about getting caught in her lies and if she's going to be able to have a good rebuttal for it.
Well, then there's that. Mm. So yeah, that was part 2, and I guess they're gonna take us on into part 3. I thought it might be a 2-parter, but no, they're gonna give us 3. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah,
didn't see Karen yet. We got to see Karen, the grande dame in that
that's
dress.
true. That's very true. So yeah, y'all, if you guys haven't already, please make sure you go ahead and hit that like button.
Make sure you comment
Make sure you guys subscribe.
and you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the TikTok, the Twitter, the Facebook, the IG, the BlueSky, and the Lemonade, and the Snapchat, y'all. And we will catch you next week for another round, part 3 of Real. I'm ready for Atlanta at this point. Let's.
I'm
I
ready
just
for
want
Atlanta
it to be over. I just wanted to be over, y'all. Okay.
too.
But love y'all. Y'all have a great week or happy hump. No, it's a hump day. It's Thursday. Damn, I don't even know. Y'all have a great week. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.
Good night.